You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about the things I've learned over the years, now that I'm 85 and living here in a quiet little town in Oregon. I wish I'd figured some of these out back when I was, say, 65, sitting on my porch with a cup of coffee, wondering what the next chapter would bring. Life has a funny way of teaching us lessons, doesn't it? And I've got 80 of them to share with you today, truths that hit deep and make you see things differently. Before we dive in, I'd be so grateful if you'd give this video a thumbs up. It helps me share these little nuggets of wisdom with more folks like us who've seen a few seasons come and go. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and tap the bell. I'd love to keep chatting with you in more videos. Oh, and if you like what you hear, drop a 1 in the comments. If it's not your cup of tea, a 0 works too. I'll take it as a nudge to do better next time. Now stick with me to the end, because number 10 is a big one. It's changed how I look at everything, and I've got a real story to tie it to. Alright, let's get going. One thing I've learned is how precious silence can be. Back when I was still working at the hardware store in Portland, life was loud. Customers, deadlines, the hum of the city. I'd come home exhausted, feeling like I had to keep up with it all. But now, I've realized stepping back into quiet isn't weakness, it's a shield. I remember my old neighbor, Tom, who'd sit on his porch every evening, just listening to the crickets. He'd tell me, "John, you don't always have to fight the noise. Sometimes you walk away, and that's strength." He was right. When things get too chaotic, maybe it's family drama or a friend who's always stirring the pot, pulling back can bring you peace you didn't know you needed. It's not giving up, it's choosing yourself. And those lines on our faces? Don't hide them with fancy creams or worry about them too much. I used to fuss over every wrinkle, thinking they made me look worn out. But one day, my granddaughter, Lily, traced one with her little finger and said, "Grandpa, this one's from all the times you laughed with me." That stuck with me. Every mark's a story, of the time I fixed up my first car, or the summer I spent fishing with my brother down by the river. They're not just age, they're proof of a life lived. So next time you catch your reflection, smile at those lines, they're your badges of honor. Slowing down's another thing I wish I'd embraced sooner. In my 60s, I was still rushing, yard work, errands, you name it. But now, sitting here with the breeze rustling the trees, I get it. There's peace in moving with the rhythm of life, not against it. I met a lady named Margaret at the senior center last year. She's 88, sharp as a tack. She told me how she started gardening after her husband passed, just to feel the dirt and hear the birds. "John," she said, "I found more joy in one tomato plant than in all my years of running around." She's onto something. Aging isn't the end, it's a chance to lean into the simple stuff, to feel your heartbeat and find contentment in it. You know, as I've gotten older, I've started to see that what really matters isn't the stuff we pile up in our garages or the fancy titles we chase. Back when I was 65, I was still proud of my old pickup truck and the savings I'd tucked away. But sitting here at 85 in my little Oregon home, I can tell you, time's taught me the real treasure is who you become. I had a buddy, Hank, who lived down the street years ago. He didn't have much, worked as a janitor his whole life, but that man could light up a room with his kindness. One winter, he shoveled my driveway without me even asking, just because he knew my back was acting up. When he passed, I realized it wasn't his house or his bank account I remembered, it was him. Simplicity's where the good stuff hides, folks. Happiness isn't in the clutter, it's in a quiet cup of tea or a sunset you actually stop to watch. Now let's talk about love and compassion. They're like fine wine, only getting better with age. I used to think I had to hold back, keep my cards close. But there was this one time, about 10 years ago, when I volunteered at the community kitchen here in town. I met Clara, a widow who'd lost everything in a fire. She didn't need my money, just someone to sit with her and listen. I held her hand, shared a few words, and you know what? That moment filled me up more than any paycheck ever did. Love doesn't fade as we get older, it deepens. Share it with yourself, too. Be kind to that reflection in the mirror, and spread it around. It's the one thing that never runs out. And those dreams you didn't chase? Don't beat yourself up over them. I wanted to open a little woodworking shop in my 60s, never got around to it. For a while, I felt like I'd missed out. But then I started carving little birds for my grandkids a few years back, and it hit me. Those dreams aren't gone, they're just waiting for the right time. My friend Betty, she's 82, picked up painting after her kids moved out. She told me over coffee one day, "John, I thought I'd missed my shot, but now my walls are covered in color." It's never too late. Happiness isn't about checking every box. It's about being grateful for what's in front of you and letting go of what doesn't fit anymore. I look at my life now, and sure, I didn't get that shop, but I've got a heart full of gratitude for the small joys, like watching my grandson giggle when he gets a new bird from Grandpa. Aging slows you down, and that's a gift, not a curse. I used to zip through my days, barely tasting my meals. But last summer, I sat on my porch with a bowl of soup, just feeling the warmth of the spoon, listening to the wind. It was like time stretched out for me. I ran into an old coworker, Ed, at the farmer's market not long ago. He's 87 now, moves slow with a cane, but his eyes sparkled when he talked about sitting by the lake with his wife. "John," he said, "I never knew how sweet a breeze could feel till I stopped running from it." That's the trick, savoring the little touches of life, the ones you miss when you're in a hurry. It's like aging hands you a pair of glasses to see the world clearer, if you're willing to wear them. One thing I've come to love about getting older is the freedom to just be me. Back in my 60s, I was still worried about what folks thought. Did I look sharp enough at the hardware store? Was I keeping up with the neighbors? But now, at 85, sitting here in Oregon with my creaky rocking chair, I don't have to prove a darn thing to anyone. It's like a weight's lifted. I remember my pal George. He was a retired teacher, lived a few blocks over. He'd wear these wild Hawaiian shirts after he quit working, didn't care a bit what anyone said. One day he told me, "John, I spent 40 years in a tie, now I'm living for me." That stuck. Aging gives you permission to drop the mask and embrace who you really are, no apologies needed. The best lessons? They don't come from some fancy book or a big speech. They come from your own life. I think about the time I lost my job back in '78. I was crushed, thought I'd failed. But scraping by taught me how to stretch a dollar and lean on my family. Or when my wife and I patched things up after a rough patch, that showed me patience I didn't know I had. My friend Ruth, she's 83, told me a story over tea last month. She said after her son moved away, she felt lost, but gardening through that loneliness taught her resilience. "John," she said, "my roses bloomed, and so did I." It's those quiet, hard-earned moments that shape us, not the stuff we're told to learn. Silence has a way of teaching you things words can't touch. I used to fill every minute with noise, radio, TV, chatter. But a couple years back, I started sitting by the window, just listening to the rain tap the glass. It's like the world slows down, and you hear your own thoughts clear as day. I met a guy named Walt at the senior center. He's 90, barely says a word, but his eyes tell you he's figured out plenty. He told me once, "John, the answers aren't out there, they're in the quiet." He's right. When you tune out the racket and listen to that stillness inside, you find peace and wisdom you didn't even know you were looking for. Now, here's a big one: letting go of the past. Oh boy, I used to lug around regrets like old suitcases. Should have taken that trip, should have said sorry sooner. But I had a wake-up call a while back. My cousin Mary, she's 81 now, told me how she spent years mad at her sister over some silly fight. Then one day, she just let it go, called her up, and they laughed like nothing ever happened. "John," she said, "it was like dropping a rock I didn't need to carry." That's number 10, folks, and it's a game changer. Holding on to old baggage weighs you down. When you let it loose, you feel light, ready for whatever's next. I tried it myself, forgave an old friend I'd been sore at for decades, and you know what? It was like opening a window in a stuffy room. The present's got so much to offer if you give it a chance. New laughs, new days, all waiting for you to step into them with both feet. Life moves fast, doesn't it? One minute you're hustling through your 60s, The next you're 85, wondering where the years went. But I've learned some things don't change, no matter how quick the world spins. Kindness, compassion, love. They stick around, growing richer as we age. I think about my old coworker Sarah, from the hardware store days. She was quiet, but every Christmas she'd bake cookies for the whole crew, even when her arthritis flared up. She'd say, "John, it's the little things that keep us warm." She was right. Those timeless bits, like a smile or a helping hand, mean more now than ever. They're the threads that tie us together, no matter how many candles are on the cake. Here's something else. Don't get stuck looking back or fretting about what's ahead. I used to replay mistakes, like that time I didn't take a promotion because I was scared, or worry about what tomorrow might bring. It just dragged me down. Then I met Elsie at the library a few years back. She's 86, always got a book in hand. She told me, "John, I wasted too many days wishing I'd done things different. Now I just sit here with my stories and enjoy the sun through the window." That hit home. Peace is right here, in the moment you're living. Let the past rest and the future figure itself out. Today's what you've got to hold on to. And speaking of holding on, don't cling too tight to pride about what you can do or what you've done. I used to flex about how I could haul lumber all day or fix anything with a wrench. But time humbles you. My knees don't agree with me anymore. I ran into my old buddy Carl at the diner last spring. He's 84, used to run marathons. He laughed and said, "John, I can barely jog to the mailbox now, but I breathe deep every morning and feel alive." That's the ticket. Focus on what keeps you steady. Maybe it's a walk around the block or just sitting still with a cup of coffee. It's not about what you used to do. It's about feeling good in your skin today. Courage is another thing that's grown on me. Following your gut takes guts, especially when you're older and folks expect you to play it safe. I wish I'd done it more in my 60s, like when I almost moved to the coast but chickened out. But a couple years ago, I met Doris at a craft fair. She's 80, started selling her quilts after her kids said she was too old to start a business. "John," she told me, "I figured if not now, when?" She's thriving, and it's because she trusted herself. So lean into what feels right for you, say no when you need to, say yes to what lights you up. And keep that optimism alive. I try not to judge too quick anymore. Everyone's got their story, and it's made my days brighter. My neighbor Bill, he's 87, always says, "Give folks a little grace, John. We're all just figuring it out." He's spot on. Life's too short to nitpick. Better to lift each other up instead. Relationships, they're the heartbeat of life, aren't they? I've learned they matter more than any paycheck or shiny thing I ever chased. Back in my 60s, I was so busy fixing up the house or tinkering in the garage, I didn't always make time for the people who mattered. But now, at 85, I see it clear as day. My friend Pete, he's 83 now, used to say, "John, you can replace a busted pipe, but you can't replace a good buddy." He was right. I think about how he dropped by just to shoot the breeze, and those chats kept me grounded. Invest in your folks, your kids, your pals, even that neighbor who waves every morning. It's worth every second, especially for us guys who sometimes let friendships slip through the cracks. Doing something positive, that's another gem I've picked up. The world's full of noise, grumbling, gossip, bad news on TV. I used to get sucked into it, complaining about the weather or some politician. But then I started helping out at the local food bank a few years back. There was this lady, Grace, she's 81, always there sorting cans with a smile. She told me, "John, I can't fix everything, but I can make sure someone eats tonight." That flipped a switch for me. Tuning out the junk and pouring energy into something good, like a kind word or a small deed, it's like planting seeds that grow into joy. The stuff that takes effort usually pays off the most. Now, friendships, they're gold, and I wish I'd dug deeper into them sooner. I had a falling out with my old pal Mike over something dumb, can't even recall what now. We didn't talk for years. But last fall, I bumped into him at the hardware store, and we ended up grabbing coffee. He's 84, still cracks the same bad jokes. "John," he said, We wasted too much time being stubborn. He's right. Don't cheat on those bonds or let them fade. Patch them up, hold them close. It's everything. I've started calling up old buddies more, just to hear their voices, and it fills my days with something money can't buy. Creativity's a lifeline too, no matter how old you get. I used to think I'd missed my shot at doing something artsy. Always wanted to play guitar but never learned. Then I met Helen at the community center. She's 79, started knitting blankets for shelters after her husband passed. She handed me one last winter and said, "John, it's not about being Picasso. It's about making something that warms someone else." That got me thinking. I picked up a cheap guitar, started strumming, and now I play for my grandkids. It's shaky, sure, but it's mine. You've got something in you too, paint, write, cook, share it. It keeps you young in a way time can't touch. I look at Helen's blankets or hear my grandkids clap, and I think, yeah, this is living, not just sitting around waiting for the clock to tick. Regrets? Oh, I've had my share, but I've learned they don't have to own you. In my 60s, I'd stew over stuff, missed chances, harsh words I couldn't take back. But now, at 85, I see it different. I met a guy named Fred at the park last year. He's 88, walks his dog every morning. We got talking, and he told me how he used to beat himself up for not moving to California like he dreamed. "John," he said, "one day I just decided to enjoy my little yard instead, and you know what? It's enough." That's the trick. Don't let what-ifs steal your peace. Love the life you've built, bumps and all, it's made you who you are. I've stopped kicking myself for the past and started smiling at where I'm at, creaky knees and all. Pushing through tough times takes grit, and boy, life's thrown some curveballs. I remember when my roof caved in during that big storm back in '92, felt like the end of the world. But I patched it up, one shingle at a time, and came out stronger. My neighbor Alice, she's 82, had a similar story. Lost her job late in life, but she kept going, started baking for folks around town. "John," she told me, "you don't quit when it's hard, you grow." She's spot on. Failure's just a teacher in disguise. Don't let fear stop you. Every stumble's a chance to stand taller next time. Other people's opinions? They used to run my life. Did I look old? Was I slowing down too much? But at 85, I've learned folks are too busy with their own messes to judge mine. I ran into my old boss, Dave, at the grocery store. He's 87 now. He laughed and said, "John, I spent years worrying what the crew thought of me. Turns out they didn't care half as much as I did." He's right. Stop dancing for everyone else and start living for you. I wear my comfy slippers to the mailbox now, and I don't care who sees. I'm happy, and that's what counts. Goals keep you moving, even when you're older. I used to drift through days, no real aim. But a couple years back, I decided to plant a vegetable garden, nothing big, just some tomatoes and beans. It gave me something to tend, something to look forward to. My friend Linda, she's 80, started a journal after her husband passed. She showed me her pages one day and said, "John, writing down my little dreams keeps me on track." It does. Happiness in these years comes from knowing where you're headed, accepting what you've done, and not crying over what's gone. I check on my plants every morning, and it's like they're cheering me on, proof I've still got purpose. Linda's got her journal, I've got my garden. We're both thriving because we've got something to chase, something that's ours. Staying active, it's a lifeline as we age. I'm not talking marathons or anything wild, but keeping the body moving keeps the spirit bright. In my 60s, I'd let myself slump into the couch too often, but now at 85, I shuffle around my Oregon yard, maybe pull a few weeds. It's enough. My pal Norma, she's 79, started water aerobics after her hip surgery. She told me last week, "John, I feel like a kid splashing around. It's not just my joints, it's my heart that's happier." Rest matters too, naps aren't lazy, they're fuel. And that inner light? Your passions, your spark, don't let it dim. I strum my guitar some days, just for me, and it's like a little fire still burning. Love's the greatest guide we've got. It's in the laughter with my grandkids, the quiet mornings with my coffee, the way I listen when a friend needs to talk. I met a lady, June, she's 83, at the senior center bingo night. She said, "John, I lost my husband years ago, but loving my cats and my garden keeps me going." She's right. Love ties it all together, makes everything mean something. Spend time with your people, do what lights you up. Life's too quick to skip those bits. I cherish every off-key note I play for my family. It's love in action. Don't hesitate, just do it. I used to overthink everything, like should I try that new recipe or call an old friend. But last month, I baked a lopsided cake for my neighbor's birthday, tasted fine, and we laughed about it. My buddy Ray, he's 86, picked up woodworking late in life. "John," he said, "I wish I'd started sooner, but I'm not waiting anymore. If your job's a drag, rethink it. You've got one shot. Live it full. I'm done stalling. Every day's a chance to jump in. Look for the light, even when it's dark. Tough days come, but there's always a flicker. After my wife passed, I thought I'd never smile again. Then my grandson drew me a picture, and that tiny glow pulled me through. My friend Ellen, she's 81, told me how she got through chemo by watching the sunrise every morning. "John," she said, "it's there if you look." She's right. Fear's loud, but hope steady, chase that glimmer, and it'll guide you. Living's about purpose, finding what keeps your fire going. Love, passion, a good laugh, they're the fuel. Let go of what drags you down, old grudges, mean words. Be grateful every day. I am, for my little house, my family, this life. Success isn't stuff, it's how you treat folks. Listen, be patient, forgive, it's the best gift. My friend Sam, he's 84, said, "John, I don't have much, but I've got stories and people who care." That's it. Perseverance gets you over the humps, don't quit. I hope you'll take these bits and weave them into your days. They've carried me through, and I'd love to hear what sticks with you. Drop it in the comments, share your own wisdom. If this resonated, hit like and subscribe. I've got more to share for us older folks. Thanks for spending this time with me. See you in the next one.